Hey everybody, Alex Azor, SteelersDepot.com, doing our weekly initial analysis of the Steelers' 20-15 win over the Detroit Lions to go to 6-2 on the season, squarely in the driver's seat of the AFC North and right at the top of the AFC as a whole. I tweeted this out. I don't even know if it really needs to be said, but if you're a Steelers fan for more than 5 minutes, you realize that these games are always going to be close. Steelers rarely blow out their opponent. They're always going to make things interesting. You're not going to get that, even what the Ravens have done, kind of 40-0 type win. It's just not in the Steelers' wheelhouse. So, obviously, far from a perfect game, Steelers have to eke out a 5-point advantage where you're kind of just, edge of your seat the entire game. But that's the normal for the Pittsburgh Steelers, right or wrong. And the bottom line is you go to Detroit, who's a very talented team. I think they're better than what their record indicates. You go to their place when you've played, 8 straight weeks of football where you've had some injuries, where you're probably a little physically, mentally worn down in a pretty tough place to play, and you go out there and get the victory. So that's kind of, again, if you're a Steelers fan, you take the win however you get, and you kind of worry about some of the details after the fact. But we're going to talk about some of those issues, of course, in this video and throughout the week along bye week to kind of sift through this game and kind of reevaluate where the Steelers are at. Number one reason why the Steelers won this game, it's not always the case that you can point to one clear issue above all else that goes into a victory, but I think this week was pretty clear. Red zone defense. Detroit 0 of 5 in the red zone. I don't know when the last time that happened. The Steelers forced that. We know the Steelers can be a really good red zone defense. The previous 2 years, they were, I think, top 5, definitely top 10, where they had slacked off years before. And Tomlin, as I'm sure you're well aware of, instituted the 7 shots, which they do to start training camp. They do to start most regular season practices. Ball on the 2-yard line, you run 7 plays, you work on goal line, red zone stuff, both the offense and the defense. And boy, that paid off in a big way tonight. And the Steelers had struggled so much in this area. It was such a strange thing coming into this game against Detroit. The Steelers were 26th in red zone defense and 0-5 tonight. So that number is going to go way up. They're probably going to jump up 15 spots based off that figure alone. So that was a turnaround the Steelers needed, and certainly there was no margin of error in the red zone because of the way the offense was unable to put that game away, and the scores were low. So big credit, Tyson Alualu, the sack or the tackle right at the line of scrimmage on 4th and goal. What Vince Williams, Sean Davis did, some other great coverage, some of the pass rush, even the 3-man rush on the final drive for Detroit. That was obviously super critical. The push that Hargrave got, walking the center, Travis Swanson back into the pocket that forced the hurry throw. I'm with you that I hate the idea of the 3-man rush, kind of just, between the 20s, and especially against a more athletic quarterback like Matthew Stafford who can extend the play. But there's no denying that when you get in tight, you get in around, the 10-yard line and closer, when the Steelers have used their 3-man rush, it's been really effective because the windows tighten up. The quarterback's not going to have an easy throw. It's not an easy place to throw from in general, but you drop 8 guys into coverage, every window gets taken away. And time again, we've seen the Steelers make plays down there, whether that's picking off, I think, Tolzien a couple years ago against the Colts. I think they got Eli Manning a couple years ago, or last year before as well. I'll go through and kind of find the data on that, but it's been effective down there. Now, certainly I thought there were too many times where they rushed 3 and that whole drive leading up to that play. I don't know what Butler was doing. I don't know what the idea was. Too conservative even for me, and I generally try to keep it a little bit more conservative. But bottom line, Steelers tighten up in situational football. The turnover battle, they got down early, the Steelers did, but they were able to kind of, in my mind, even things up. The Steelers, the box score will show 2 turnovers for Pittsburgh, 1 for Detroit, but I consider that, 4th and goal failed conversion for Detroit to basically be a turnover in itself. You take points off the board. So essentially it was even, which was huge. And the Steelers offense got enough situational plays, which has been the story when they've won all year long, to get the victory. And that was, of course, led by Juju Smith-Schuster, 97-yard touchdown, Steelers record longest pass play in history. Such a great play. What a game for Juju Smith-Schuster. It's been such a crazy week with the Martavis Bryant stuff and Juju's bike and just the craziness. And for a 20-year-old, for a guy that's coming over from the West Coast, has never really been on the East Coast before, and just all the big and little things that go into being a rookie, whether that's the big stuff like adjusting to NFL speed and learning NFL playbook, or whether that's the stuff that we don't really think about a lot when we talk about a rookie and a 20-year-old at that, moving to a new city, finding a place to stay, a new culture, making new friends, trying to fit in, adjusting to no longer being the big man on campus, though I think after this game and this week, Juju's back to being the big man on campus. Is there a more liked athlete in Pittsburgh right now than Juju Smith-Schuster? I would say no, but it's just that even, steady play he's given, and when there are mistakes made, which there were, he had the big drop on third down, he comes back and responds in an appropriate way. Just rare maturity, rare consistency, and just a guy having a lot of fun out there. We got to think about that. It is a game with a 20-year-old guy. It's infectious, I think, in that locker room. You see everyone else kind of rally around him at times, which is just a crazy thing to say, that they're rallying around and getting so hyped for this 20-year-old that, for most guys are still in college right now. So heck of a game by him, with AB kind of battling Darius Slay, such an underrated corner, such a good cornerback, and was able to kind of lock AB up for a good portion of the game. When AB got free, was against guys like Killebrew and guys like that. So yes, the offense had to be better. It's a shame they could only put up 20 points tonight. It's multi-layered with the issues. Ben's interception, AB. I don't know what Ben's doing there. You can't do that in a triple coverage. Eli Rogers dropped the misconnection to DHB, which, by the way, was the same concept that Juju caught last week wide open. The same play that DHB caught against the Chiefs in Week 4 last year, wide open. So that concept has been money. Haley went back to it. It was another, should have been just not even a walk-in, but just catch it and score. I don't know exactly what went wrong there. Ben's throw seemed a little off. DHB seemed to alligator arm it a little bit, but regardless, that should have been the easiest 6 in the world. Le'Veon Bell's fumble at the end of the half, changed points on the board there. This is a game that should have been put away in the third quarter. But as I've said, if you're a Steelers fan, this is kind of how this stuff goes. But the offense is doing just enough, and you just keep hoping that eventually it's going to click. The execution, or at least the play calls, I think, worked a lot better tonight. Sure, there's stuff Haley did that I didn't like, but, you ran on the first play of the game, you run the fake bubble to hit Juju down the seam for 41 yards. You run the play call against two-man for the 97-yard touchdown. You get Eli Rogers open on the drop. You get DHB open. You're moving the football really well. You had the turnovers and stuff like that that kind of killed you. So, Haley had to be, could have been better in certain areas, of course, but I think a lot of it was just, the players on executing in times where they had to, where it should have been easy touchdowns. You think if Eli scores, if DHB scores, if Bell doesn't fumble, what kind of game are you going to have? It's not going to be that close. Steelers are running away with this thing. So, hopefully with a bye week, with some health, you get Marcus Gilbert back, because I like Matt Filer, but I do not want to see Matt Filer start a game at right tackle. I don't know if my heart could take that. So hopefully Gilbert will get back after the bye. I think there's a decent chance of that, but who knows? We'll see. Hopefully Tuitt will be able to come back as well, and Vance McDonald and guys that are bumped and bruised can rest up and get healthy. Special teams, I thought did a really good job, really underrated. Boswell successful again. Jordan Berry had probably his best game of the season. I know some people have been kind of sour on Jordan Berry, which, I can kind of get, but I thought his directional punting all year long has been really good. I thought he's done well booting out of his own end zone. I thought his hang times have been pretty decent. I thought the net yards seemed to be okay. Really strong performance tonight, 47-yard average, 53 was a long, 2 inside the 20, and I thought the coverage units did a really impressive job as well. They got a really good punt returner in Jamal Agnew from San Diego that no one's ever heard of, that's returned 2 punts this year for a touchdown. And he got limited pretty well, whether they were, fair catches induced by Berry's hang time, whether they were return plays where I thought Tyler Medikevich did a really good job on special teams, making a couple key tackles and limiting some of that net yardage for a very dangerous guy. And Agnew even got a carry on offense for, I think, the first time this year. So, defensively, the tackling was a little sloppy early. That's going to be, I guess, expected. You never want to see it, but Detroit's a really good team with guys that can make you miss in space. Abdullah, especially Golden Tate, Riddick, the list goes on and on. But I thought it kind of settled down as the game went on. Steelers did a good job to rally. Hats off to Hargrave, Cam Hayward, LT Walton showed really good hustle. Alualu played a heck of a game tonight, so it started with that. Pass rush has to get better as a whole. Dupree, Watt, just not good enough. I don't think Watt did some nice things in coverage, but contain the pocket again, yeah, that was an issue against Cincinnati. It became an issue against Detroit, and the Lions have the quarterback and the weapons to make you pay, so things to work on there. Why Harrison wasn't in the game, I don't know how many snaps he got. Did not feel like many, maybe none at all. I can't remember a single snap where I saw Harrison. But if I had to guess of why he wasn't in there, and to be clear, I wanted him to get some reps. I'm surprised that he didn't, but I think it was just the fact they were dropping the linebackers in the coverage so much that the Lions had so many good backs, and again Abdullah and Riddick, that Harrison would have had probably a hard time trying to stay step for step within coverage. So that's my guess. Not excusing it, I'm explaining it. But overall, the pass rush had to be better. You would expect it with the way this unit's done their job this year. They were lauded during the week about the four-man rush that's been able to get home. What you saw in the Bengals game, you play against a Detroit team that with the quarterbacks that will hold on to the football. Matthew Stafford's been sacked 23 times this year. You got Brian Mahalik at left tackle. You had issues at right tackle with their stud Wagner being injured. Wanted it to be better than what it was, but you made some timely pressures. You did get one sack. The Hargrave pressure on fourth down was obviously huge and one of the plays of the game. So you just hopefully chalk it up to kind of a bad week. Dupree's and Watt have both kind of been hindered by some injuries. Dupree's dealt with a shoulder all year long. Watt's got a groin. He had an ankle flare-up later in the week, so maybe that stuff kind of affected him. A lot of little things that usually go unnoticed, that are usually forgotten about, that usually don't go away for guys. You're dealing with it all year. You just deal with it a little bit better than you did maybe the week before, and you play through it. So, again, the bye week had a great time. You rest up, and hopefully guys will hit the ground running out of the bye week when you take on the Colts. So, I think that's all the thoughts I had. Again, not a perfect game by any means, but I thought situationally Steelers were really excellent tonight. Did a nice job on third down. Great third down defense as well. I forget the total number on third down. I think the Lions were, maybe I can pull it up if I have the stats up. Yeah, 2 of 12 the Lions were on third down. Does not get much better than that. 0 of 5 in the red zone. That does not get any better than that stat, 0 of 5. So certainly things to clean up on both sides of the football. But again, you're a Steelers fan. You take the win however you can get it. You're 6-2. You're sitting pretty right now. So you go into the bye, you get healthy, and the Steelers historically under Tomlin are a great, maybe one of the best second half teams in the NFL. The schedule gets a little bit tougher. You get some shorter schedules. You get some tougher teams, Tennessee, New England, and the like. But you have to like where the Steelers are at right now. So I think I've rambled on long enough. Let me know your thoughts on this game, state of the Steelers as a whole, as we go into the bye, whether you're watching it on YouTube, if you're checking me out on Twitter, or reading this and watching this on SteelersDepot.com. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.